A big hello to anybody watching this. My name is BarriKade, and welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. This is part 8, and we'll be diving right back in where we left off, having just received our first real job offer from Kindly Cheng. I believe we're going to go see what the Wampoan elders want first, since that seems the most pressing, especially since Kindly actually requested this one personally rather than just hooking us up with a job. So yeah, we're going to go and handle that, presumably, and hope that nothing bad happens. Oh dear. Alright. Still, this should be easy enough. I mean, it sounds like an investigation run more than anything. And if that's the case, then, wing it, I guess. So the way I'm going to do character progression for BarriKade is it's going to be, I'll save up for charisma, increase my charisma, and then I'll increase another skill until we've got all of the etiquettes. Presumably, at least. That is my plan. Alright, we're back. So, I don't think anyone will want to talk, but hey, we can always give it a shot. Maybe we can convince Ractor to come and join us and bring his death bot. Wu's cabin appears to be the only clean spot on the bolt hole. His equipment is neatly laid out on his bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He's currently in the process of cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. I forgot to ask about benefits. Think we get medical and dental care? He stops for a moment, stares at the weapon in his hand. Damn, I don't think we took the brochure. We'll have to ask for it the next time we have an audience with our Chinese syndicate crime lord. He looks down the barrel of his gun, blows into it. You look like you want to talk about something. What's the topic? I want to talk about Raymond. Okay, shoot. What do you think's going on with him? I don't know, James. You're clearly obsessed with the walled city, or whatever prosperity is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners. From Triad bosses. Raymond was smart as hell. I'm sure he had a reason for using Kindly Chen as a fixer. Why do you think he came to Hong Kong? Well, he's from here, right? It sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? I don't know. Yeah, me either. Just something to think about. Did he say anything about me after I left? You know Raymond, James. He taught us what he wanted to teach us. Told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it is out of your mouth, it is out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Not a word. Aw, let's talk about something else. Sure, ask away. Let's talk about being Shadowrunners! What's there to say? I worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something out of my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm a mercenary hiding in the shadows of a foreign country, doing dirty jobs that the Corps need to keep off the books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. You seem to be taking it pretty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said you thought that Raymond was alive too, that we'd run the shadows until we could figure out what happened to him. Was that true? Yes. For me, this is all about finding out what really happened to Raymond. Wu nods, clearly satisfied. Good that we're on the same page. I feel better knowing that. What's your opinion of Kindly Cheng? I'd say she's got us right where she wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? What do you think she wants from us? As long as her network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care. At least for now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. We should keep an eye on Strangler Bao. We should keep an eye on everybody, and that guy's definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers in the Barrens, and plenty more since I joined Lone Star. This guy's the real deal. I'm not sure if he even knows what the word remorse even means. You should stay clear of him. I'll be careful. Uh-huh. I can see that. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Gilbert and Isabel! They seem competent, considering how young they are. But then again, they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us worked well together in the walled city. Based on that, I bet the four of us would make a solid crew. Gobbet talks to rats. She's a rat shaman, James. Of course she talks to rats. Remember that guy in the Barrens, Joey D? Small-time BTL guy, lived in the apartment royals? He had a skunk shaman working guard duty for him. Covered him when he slept. Guess he figured no matter what happened, the stink would wake him. Whatever happened to him? Heard he got clipped a couple of years ago. He moved up a bunch in the BTL biz, broadened his market, took over the Royale, grabbed the penthouse apartment for himself. Heard he ran afoul of some runner and took apart his whole crew. Heard he traded in his skunk showing for a hellhound. Smart move. I can't get that dream out of my head. You said you had one too, right? Yeah, yours sound like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by our run into the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare. He shrugs. What do you remember about yours? Just little snatches of things. He puts his hands on his hips and concentrates. The walled city was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere. And there was a tunnel that was so bright I had to shut my eyes. And Raymond was there. He was either kneeling or lying down, I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up. The sound of my father crying. Did it feel different from other nightmares you've had? He takes his time, thinks about his answer a bit before he responds. You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like you did something wrong when you see him? Kind of feels like that to me. Like I dreamed I was swimming towards a bright light, and then I woke up, and I was out of breath from the effort. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk later. Later's good. I want to do some cardio, work off some steam. Then it's a rack time for me. You should do the same, James. A couple hundred push-ups would do you good. Please, I could bust out 200 in my sleep. He raises an eyebrow. I'd love to see that sometime. But for now, you should clear out. I want to get started, and this cabin isn't big enough for two. Oh, I could do 200 push-ups in my sleep. Whatever. Shut up. God damn it, Big D. Isabel! Isabel's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Her living space is utterly dominated by an enormous, jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that she's elbow-deep in the guts of an obsolete cyberdeck, one of the half a dozen that have been wired into her computer with braided cables. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you. Got a second? There's a long pause, and then she chirps out a response. We're talking now, aren't we? I guess so, yeah. Can I ask you a few questions? She leans in, scrutinizing the innards of the obsolete deck. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. It's quite the machine you're working on. Care to tell me about it? She's my pet project. I call her the octopus. She waves a hand at the tangle of thick power cables that radiate out from the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Impressive work. How well does it perform? She's a monster. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's motherboard and neatly sets it aside, then fumbles in a nearby bin for a replacement. An absolute beast. What is this thing made of? Whatever I could find. Busted terminals, obsolete cyberdecks, aftermarket memory from Maximum Wall's dumpster. Scavengers would kill for this stuff in the walled city, but out here, people throw it away. She chuckles to herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever's newest, shell out huge amounts of new in hopes of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. It's an arms race. Deckers do what they have to do. They do what's easy. Throw money at the problem. Amateurs. For a quarter the price of that whiz-new cyberdeck, I could have 5 of last year's model. And after I finish daisy-chaining them together, the machine that I've built will run circles around your store-bought wonder. Can you teach me how to do that? Got a couple of years to sit here and learn? Frowning, she yanks a stick of memory from the old deck. I can give you tips here and there, BarriKade, but really, learning how to do this takes a time we don't have. Time and desperation, and the need to make do with what you've got. What about your portable gear, your cyberdeck software, that kind of thing? Gets the job done. Might not be the top of the line, but I'm comfortable using it in the field. If you happen to come across any more advanced hardware or software, either on the job or on the discount rack at Lost Techno Palace, I'm not above taking donations. But barring that, I'm fine with using what I've got. Your call. Have you been having weird dreams recently? Her body goes still. Yes, I think that everyone has. Oh, me too. I've been having horrible nightmares. I know. It happens more often than you'd think. She tilts her head in the direction of the walled city. This kind of mass psychosis was common where I grew up. Everyone got it. Mass psychosis seems like a magical phenomenon to me. Her voice quickens. I really don't know what it is, and I don't think I want to. I just want to work on my computer in peace. I'll leave you alone for now. I've got to go, Isabel. Sure, drop by any time. Okay, I will. Yeah, absolutely. Gobbet! Gobbet. 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 Gobbet! Gobbet's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. Piles of clothes on the ground, an overflowing garbage bin surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbtacked to the walls, overlapping in some places and peeling in others. It feels a lot like an art school dorm room. Gobbet reclines in a corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, a cast-iron pot simmers away on an electric hot plate. The contents are typical Hong Kong comfort food: chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. As you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, Gobbet lifts her head slowly from her bowl to acknowledge you. Hey, Seattle! She chews on the words along with a mouthful of cheap pasta. The corner of her mouth curls up into a half-smile. How's tricks? Things have been better. Things have been worse. That's the attitude. Very stoic, very strong. It's downright inspiring. She skims an oily slab of faux ham off the top of her soup and pops it into her mouth. Now, you want to tell me what you're doing in my bedroom? I'm assuming you're not here to admire the view. How did you settle the name Gobbet, anyway? I didn't. She pops a noodle into her mouth and chews. My mom did. So, Gobbet is your given name. Your mother named you after a wad of meat. She shrugs. Yeah, sure. I don't think she knew what it meant. She just thought it sounded pretty. You should get used to that, by the way. People here in Hong Kong like to stand out, and choosing unique names is one of the ways they do it. Have you had any nightmares recently? Like, bad ones? Her jaw stops working mid-chew. Slowly, she nods. Yeah, I have. We all have. Everyone in town. Me too. And Isabel. We both just had the same nightmare. Let me guess. You saw the walled city and a black whirlpool and teeth. Thousands and thousands of teeth. She holds up a hand. You don't need to answer. I already know that I'm right because I just had the same dream. Creepy, I know. Her voice goes quiet. The dreams are coming from inside the walled city. I'm sure of it. All the negative energy pent up in there. All that pain and anger and poisonous ki. It's leaking out. And while we sleep, it's getting to us. You think this is a magical phenomenon, then? Yeah, I think it is. Want my personal opinion? The walled city is cursed. Deep down, I think that everyone knows it, and we live in its shadow. That's bound to mess with your head, you know? And it is. But they're just dreams. It's not like it can hurt us, right? I'm glad that one of us isn't terrified by this. She tries on a smile, fails, does her best to laugh it off. Don't worry, Seattle, we're fine here. But, let's talk about something else, huh? I don't like thinking about the walled city very much. Too many old fears and bad feelings. Yeah, if you're up to talking about it, I wanted to go over the ambush back in the docks with you. Yeah. She nods slowly, frowning. Yeah, I figured you would. It was a hell of a thing, right? You could say that. It was fucking awful. Nightjar and Gutshot were two of the strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. I've watched those two fight through a situation that'd kill anyone else and come out on top. And how do they go out? She mimes holding a rifle, makes a show of peering down the scope. Bang, bang, dead, dead. No blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguished. Smashed like bugs. They went quick and clean. We should all be so lucky. She shakes her head from side to side. No way, not me. When I die, I want to know what's coming. Just winking out like that is the worst thing I can imagine. Even a drawn-out, painful death would be better. At least I'd have time to say my goodbyes. Yeah, I guess I can see that. Of course you can, 'cause I'm right. You don't want to go gentle into the night any more than I do. She plunges her spoon back into the bowl, sloshing ham-scented broth all over the rim. Nightjar and Gotshot, they never got the opportunity to choose. It's fucking depressing. Carter didn't get to choose either. She just went down in the office strike, just like your teammates did. Yeah, she seemed like a good woman. Tough, skilled, light on her feet. But in the end, it didn't matter, because some asshole with a rifle made a decision half a mile away. She falls quiet, staring into her soup. You got us out of there, though. We're all still alive because of you. She absent-mindedly raises her bowl to her shoulder. A rat crawls over the slope of her back and lowers its head to lap at the broth. It was more rat than me. She's the one who grabbed me by the gut and led us to the sewer entrance. All I did was follow. Do you always let your rats drink out of your own bowl? She shrugs. Sure, why not? We're all part of the same nest. Makes as much sense as anything else, I guess. Of course it does. Besides which, I got shot at for a living. I've got bigger things to worry about than a few stray hairs in my noodles. Gotta run, Gobbit. You take care. Sure, drop by any time. You say that now, but when you're in the shower... nothing. Ignore me. Alright, we'll talk to Ractor and see if he has anything else to say, but I doubt it. Aha. Hello, my Russian friend. Welcome back, my friend. What can I do for you? When you said this morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said. A casting that I made of a new locomotive assembly for Koshie. He gestures at the display above the work table. A biometric design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod crustacean. A mangrove crab, to be specific. That's fascinating. And will this new leg assembly make your drone more effective? That remains to be seen. But there is more to life than combat effectiveness, is there not? By fabricating new components for Koshie, I unlock options, different ways of being. Even the failures, and there have been many, have value in this context. How did you learn to do all this? More training and experience than I care to imagine. He offers you a wry smile. Drone architecture was once my profession, you see? Now it's more of a calling, one that I'm free to pursue now that I've freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude. Keeping all this machinery running can't be cheap. How can you afford it? Freelance. At the risk of sounding immodest, I've commodified myself rather well. There are always corporations in need of design consultations. You'd be surprising by how lucrative such work can be, and there's always other work that can turn to in a pinch. I have to get back upstairs. Very well, come back any time. It's pleasant to have someone to talk to. I'm not going to pry too much, mainly because I don't have to fight the horrible killer death drone on my own. You know, that's not really my style. More of a lead the team, not a fight for the entire team. I leave Duncan to do that one. Hang on. What have I got equipped? Alright. Let's go to Wampoan! Enter the MTR station. Board the train. The MTR doors open as you approach. Head to Wampoan Gardens to discover who's killing the Wampoan elders. Additional runners available. Okay, so apart from my team, I can hire mercs who are other runners that'll come and help out. But I don't see a reason why we wouldn't stick with our team. I mean, these guys are pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. Wait, how do I change my own gear? Inventory. No, oh, hang on. Maybe I need to go change my gear back at the base. Alright, quick detour back home. Just to get what we need. Let's spy to Shen's place. Get moving. Come on. We want to show the audience something fun, don't we? Yes, we do. Oh, see? BarriKade, we're on the same wavelength. Yes, we are, BarriKade. Okay, getting creepy. So, we go back to our room, back to our stash, get our good stuff. Aha! Alright. Renraku's best deck. Yeah. There we go. Cheap common pistol, mass-produced to keep this model low. The model includes smartling for reduces range penalties. Okay, well, that's... I mean, really... all I can do. We need more money so we can get more gear. For now, let's go. I've got a better pistol, a better deck, and some better programs. Really, that's all I can hope for. Quickly! Make a run for it! Whoa, look at that! Man, that is some high school track level, because that's obviously the bars. It's normal person, high school track, Olympics. There you go. Board the train. Wampoa Garden. Isabel Duncan Gobbet. Let's a rocker. Right. So, what is happening? Wampoa Garden, a carnival of chrome and neon, rife with every manner of technology and artifice one can imagine. The entire area has the feel of a night market, save that chips are sold in lieu of steamed buns, and vendors hawk the latest drones rather than folk art. Something stalks these streets, hiding just out of sight. It stalks the Wampoan elders, the leaders of the brand of tech-savvy squatters that have claimed this neighborhood as their own. The streets smell of ozone and fear, and those Wampoans you pass in the MTR station have a haunted, furtive look in their eye. While the killer has only struck at the elders thus far, it may only be a matter of time before ordinary residents are menaced as well. Okay, find the serial killer. I'm having flashbacks to every investigative criminal game ever. I'm sure I was meant to be going somewhere with that. Every game ever that I've played like that. I'm sure there are games, and yet I cannot name them. L.A. Noire, there we go. Heavy Rain, there we go. Oh, I can change my stuff here. Oh, alright, well, that's fair. Okay, so I've got a trauma kit, 2 crappy med packs, and a grenade. The grenade is very important. Somehow. I'm sure. Oh boy. The streets of Wampoa Garden are slick with rain, glittering under the neon glow of myriad signs and holographic displays. The sky reflects the same glow, painting the white apartment blocks the sickly orange of sodium streetlights. The smell of grilling meat mingles with other rarer scents, ozone, engine oil, and high-tech fabrication facilities. Despite the hour, there are plenty of people out and about. You can hear the calls of street vendors and touts, urging people into their stores. Isabel wrinkles her nose, scowling darkly. She wraps her arms tightly around her chest, staring off into the distance. Is there a word for feeling nostalgic for a place you can't wait to leave? I don't miss this place, but I miss the feelings I had when I lived here. So Daoud, maybe? Isabel shakes her head. No, that's not it. It's close, but... She lets the sentence trail off into nothingness, clamping her mouth shut for a moment. Isabel sighs heavily. This place seemed like heaven after the walled city. Like the whole world had unfurled in front of me, and anywhere I turned there was the promise of a good life. Turned out this place was just as crappy as everywhere else. Everyone was still in it for themselves. Gobbet claps a hand on Isabel's shoulder, who flinches and pulls away. That's a great life lesson, Is. I'm serious. At the end of the day, life's a raw deal. You've got yourself and a handful of friends, and that's it. Nothing else. Sure. Duncan casts a sidelong glance at Isabel and Gobbet, shaking his head. You got some strange ideas about life. Sure, life's a meat grinder, but come on, there's gotta be more to life than just surviving. Does there? What makes you the authority on that? Isabel just waves a dismissive hand. I'm done talking about this. Anyway. Isabel turns to you and points down the street towards you left. We're looking for the Wampoan elders. They're gonna be in the Wampoa itself. That's the big ship down the street. I've seen pictures. That looks like a yacht. Isabel nods, lips pursed. That's the one. Kinda hard to miss, and it's been a fixture since late last century. These days, it's just a squat. Shops are family affairs, not corporate ones. Is there anything else I should know about the Wampoans? They're all tech heads, tinkerers, and self-taught scientists. Despite the fact there's no formal education system, everyone here is pretty smart. They apprentice kids to skilled workers so they can learn a trade. Elder Gao taught me decking, and I left after she got brain fried trying to crack a Mitsuhama network. Elder Ip taught me to shoot. He should still be here. Come on, let's go see what they have to say for themselves. All right. Wampoa! It's beautiful! Gold and shiny and chrome. I heard he's not just dead, he's been all cut up. The elders don't want anyone to go inside without their permission. It must be pretty bad in there. Interesting. The Wampoa! What do we got? Nice ambient music. Hello. Elder Ng. Elder Ng. This orc woman is festooned with small circuits, tiny trid screens, and speakers. The trid screens display snippets of trid broadcasts from every corner of the world. The tiny speakers play counterpoint with a susurrus of voices speaking Sparethial, Punjabi, Kazakh, and other languages. Her expression is haggard, and she fidgets with her fingers as you approach. I have no idea what happened to my voice. Welcome! Welcome to the Wampoa, my friend. I am Elder Ng, and these are Elders Tang and Ip. Gestures to the elf and human, who each incline their heads respectfully. Thank you so much for answering our request for help. We had nowhere else to turn. It's the least I could do. Under Tang's skin, glowing tattoos writhe and change shape. Tigers become cranes and move on to dragons. We're under threat. One by one, we elders are being hunted by some monster. As you may have noticed when you arrived, there's been another killing just tonight. Ip crosses his solid chrome arms. Holographic readouts dance constantly over their surface, displaying diagnostic information about their state, operating temperature, servo pressure, and a variety of other minutiae. He looks past you, towards Isabel. The prodigal daughter, returned once more. I didn't expect you to see back aboard the Wampoa in my lifetime, Isabel. When you disappeared, Elder Yatunde was very put out. I'm glad you're still alive. When you chose to walk your own path, I was disappointed, but I still understand why you had to leave. Ip pauses, tasting the air as he chooses his next words with care. I hope my lessons have helped you prosper. Didn't expect to be back either. Work takes you places, though. Isabel shrugs. A moment later, she places a hand on her pistol, eyes trained on the Ip's shoes. I don't cart this around for fun, Ip. The lessons keep me alive. Isabel blinks several times and looks up at her expression clouded. Where is Yatunde anyway? I expect her to be here. Shakes her head sadly. She reaches out a hand towards Isabel and shrinks away from it. She's dead. So are Gan and Nakamura, and Tong was killed just tonight. So much blood. You have to stop this from continuing. Isabel's expression remains impassive, but her knuckles grow white as her hands ball up into fists. That's what we're here for. We'll stop the killings. Thank you, Isabel. Lifts a hand, wiping away tears from her eyes. What can you tell me about the murders? They started 2 weeks ago. The first to go was gone. We found him in his apartment, eviscerated. Swallows, grimacing at the painful memory. He'd been torn apart. His head had been ripped completely off, and most of his skin flayed away. There was so much blood it took us weeks to clean out his apartment. Tang nods, running his palm over his forehead. The rest have been the same. Always at night, always dismembered. Each scene is like a nightmare, and every time, nobody has seen anything. It's like a ghost. What happened to Tong? The same thing that happened to the rest of the victims. Evisceration and dismemberment. We sent a guard to keep people out of his shop, but he'll let you in. When did he die? Sometime early tonight. He'd locked up his shop, but Ip stopped by to ask him about some skill chips he had. The door was unlocked, and inside... lifts her hands helplessly. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. Seeing Ng's inability to continue, Ip takes over. Inside looked like a bad horror sim, just like all the other murders. It had to have happened after sundown, because I saw his shop was open when I was on my way to get some noodles for dinner. Why didn't you call the police? The Hong Kong police force isn't welcome here. They've tried to force us out several times before, or come hunting for someone to pin a crime on. We do a lot of favors for local gangs and triads, handle their matrix security, fix up their gear, and make sure they have access to the Hong Kong Shadowlands hub. We're too valuable a resource for them to lose, so they'd protect us from the HKPF or anyone else decides we're an easy target. They handle our physical security, and we make sure to send the message via the matrix. The last time the HKPF made trouble, we started airing the assistant chief's dirty laundry over the Trid. They got the picture and backed off. Have you made any enemies lately? Shrugs helplessly. Not that I can think of. We keep to ourselves. We buy and sell technology. We're not mercenaries or criminals, we're merchants and deckers. And even if someone was cheated in a deal, this kind of response is unthinkable. Whatever did this, it wasn't human. The violence and savagery, it's a monster, whatever it is. Plenty of metahumans are monsters too, Ning. Just because it's horrible doesn't mean it's supernatural. What do the Wampoan elders do? Isabel snorts derisively. They make the rules and kick people out who don't obey them. They're a bunch of petty tyrants, that's what. You're being unfair, Isabel. Our laws are for the good of the community. Tang turns to address you. We keep the Wampoa and its residents safe. We review trade agreements with outsiders to see if they're good for the community. We provide a guiding vision, like a town council. I can respect that. I'm glad you understand. This community is fragile, and the authorities bear us a lot of ill will. A single misstep could spell our end. I am the invoker of sprites. I commune with the spirits of machines, ask them for blessings, and pass those blessings on to the people here. I heal the sick and ensure the feng shui of our habitats is as good as can be, given her confines. She's a shaman, that's all. She's got some kooky spin on it, claims her totem is some kind of all-encompassing machine god that lives in circuitry. Isabel pats her deck, looking at Ancient gods and ancestors are one thing. My deck? It's mine. I built it. The only spirits it's guardian are the ESPs I loaded up with. Isabel gives Isabel a look of deep sadness. Just because you cannot see or touch a thing does not mean that it does not exist. Just because you do not believe in it does not mean it does not protect you from afar. I can't touch programs either, but at least I can prove they have an effect on the physical world. Your superstitions are just that. Bullshit. Isabel glances at you, jerking a thumb towards Tang. This guy treats drones like they're living things. What exactly do you do, Tang? Tang extends his arms, palms up. As you watch, the tattoos therein shift into a complex mathematical formula. I am the first and glorious servo. I study patterns, repair machinery, and teach others how to attune themselves to the wonders of automation. The blessed Autofab is my shop and purview, where we make the drones we use and sell. As for me, I serve as the resplendent voltage spike. Ip smiles crookedly. That means I shoot people who try to screw with us. It's a fancy title for head of security. That's all for now. It might be wise to ask the residents of Wampoa Garden if they've seen or heard anything after you've gone to Tong's Sensory Carnival. They may have seen or heard things we have not. Good to know. Okay, I'm getting a very culty look. A very culty vibe from everyone here. We'll have a quick sticky bake around before we end the episode. Hello, you don't want to talk to us. You don't want to talk to us. No one here wants to talk to us. What about you? You don't want to talk to us either. That's fine, that's fine. Why would you want to talk to us? We're just here to save your entire way of life. To Wampoa Garden! Alright, so we need to go to Tong's Sensory Carnival. Let's have a look! Porter Lamb, at your service. The elders told me that you'd be coming. They tell you about what happened to Tong? Just the basics. Well, nothing's basic about this. I've seen people shot, stabbed, beaten to death. Hell, I've even seen a corpse that was so dry and desiccated I could have sworn a vampire got to it. None of that's got anything on this. Brace yourself and go on in. Not sure I want to. Really? Do I have any kind of skills for this? Intelligence. Biotech 3, I guess. Is that enough for me to get some kind of... Alright, let's have a look. Whoa! Tong's Sensory Carnival looks like a scene out of a B-grade slasher sim. The cloying scent of incense hangs thick and pungent in the air, emanating from the small shrine in the corner of the shop. Unfortunately, it does nothing to cover up the reek of death and clotted blood. Despite the ragged remnants of Elder Tong littering the floor, the rest of the shop appears to be in good order, at least at first glance. Nothing is broken, tipped over, or otherwise ransacked. As you're about to step further into the room, you glance at the ceiling and walls. The blood from Tong's body isn't just confined to where his remains lie. Drying blood is spread about the walls and the ceiling as well. Whoa. Someone really did not like Elder Tong. Check his body. Tong's body is a ruined mess. The destroyed ruin of his face is barely recognizable, and what's left of his body would be best described as savaged. All of his limbs have been torn off, and a pile of flayed skin lies next to the remnants of the Wampoan elder. The Wampoan's clothing has all but been reduced to rags and tissue by cuts and tears, apparently sustained during the flaying. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body in a semblance of human form is the hair-thin fiber optics of his cyberware. Gobbet puts a hand over her mouth, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone. Sweet heaven, BarriKade! I haven't seen anything like that since Auntie Wong tried to stash some cred sticks in a devil rat's nest. It takes a lot to turn my stomach, but we sure have a winner today. This is seriously messed up. I'll second that. This isn't murder. This is more like, I don't know, a feeding frenzy. If it weren't for the skin, I'd say Tong stepped on a goddamn mine or something. Biotech 3, examine the body. Aside from the tremendous trauma the body suffered, there's no evidence of a struggle. No subdermal bruising marks the muscles, aside from torque points where the limbs were torn off. The coagulation of blood in the body's lividity marks a time of death between 2 and 4 hours ago. The knife marks seem more methodical than they did at first glance. There's been no care to try and preserve the skin as any kind of whole, but it was removed in a fashion similar to filleting a fish, the path of least resistance. What's more, some edges of the flayed skin are ragged, as if cut by a claw rather than a sharpened blade. There's also a deep, razor-sharp cut to the base of Tong's neck that doesn't match any of the other wounds. His spine has been severed between the 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. The wound is consistent with a single blow from a sharp-bladed weapon. Given the trauma across the rest of his body, this is almost certainly the first wound he's suffered. Seriously, someone killed him and then just spread his parts all around? That's horrible and disgusting. I'm gonna hold out hope that he didn't feel any pain. Have Goblet sense the body. You're the boss. Man, this is gonna be unpleasant. Goblet closes her eyes, taking a deep breath. After a moment, she opens them again and makes a strange grunting noise. There's no fear here, BarriKade. No anger either. Just this kind of satisfied feeling. Tong never saw it coming, and whoever did it was professional about it. Which is pretty odd because nobody's professional about eviscerating a body, as far as I know. You think it was a hit? I don't know why the killer was after Tong, but it definitely wasn't any kind of mindless creature, or even somebody particularly passionate. It was somebody who planned this and executed it, and was glad about it. I don't know. It kind of feels like this was just business as usual. Leave the body alone. There's blood on that wall there. The walls are covered in splattered and smeared blood, most of which has hardened into a crusty congealed paste. Thick tracks of it run laterally. It looks like the blood has been deliberately smeared. Hey, BarriKade, I don't know a whole lot about science or all that, but I know what blood looks like when it hits a wall. This isn't natural. Somebody deliberately smeared blood all over these walls. See how it looks like it's got paint trails? That's because someone used Tong's parts like a brush. So they painted his walls with blood. Why? Do I look like a psychologist to you? Maybe because they're a freak. Maybe they're one of those sick serial killers that sees our murderer's art. I got no clue. All I know is what normal blood looks like on a wall, and this ain't it. Some people have a bad grasp of art. I knew this guy in Kwantung who used to make music out of stray radio static and panic button calls. Called it Crisis Wave. It was awful. Great, let's open the door. Boom shakalaka. Alright, so let's go over here to the we'll search the bathroom. Tong's bathroom is immaculate, and the drains are tiny. Whatever killed him didn't exit through here. Okay. Tong's desk... My apologies. Tong's desk drawers are open, and the safe that's built into one side has been opened. There's no sign of tampering, and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank cred sticks, but no sign of any money on them. Looks like someone looted his stash. A guy like this wouldn't keep only empty cred sticks in his safe. Agreed. Let's check. The SimSense editor. This is a Yamaha 95000V SimSynth, a device for mixing and mastering SimSense chips. Several drive bays are empty, and all of the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message. Warning, requested files cannot be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. I will debug the system. Banging away at the SimSense keyboard, you manage to suspend the drive error warning for a time. Digging into the guts of the machine's recent files, you manage to kick it into diagnostic mode. While it's not as good as having access to the full system, maybe you can learn something anyway. Yamaha, SimOS 5.23 System Diagnostics Check. Memory, OK. Drive, error. Assist bus, OK. Beginning core dump, please wait. The long debug spew that scrolls across the synth screen is filled with numbers indicating recent files, play lengths, keyframes, and assist peak levels. Based on the numbers you're seeing, Tong's SimSynth has been hacked to remove the peak controller levels from the chips he's been burning, a required operation to make BTL chips. The delta wave outputs for these chips push them dangerously into brain-burning territory. The file catalog for the high-peak BTLs indicates all the files and burned chips should be stored on the missing drives and whatever was in the empty chip jacks. Somebody's cleaned out Tong's BTL stash. Interesting. I think that was everything. Is there anything over here to investigate? Nope. Alright, that is pretty gruesome. Someone did finger painting with his body. Hey there. Need something else? It looks like someone went through Tong's things. Has anyone else been inside? Not since I've been here, but before Ip found him? Could have been anyone, really. Ip had a key to his place, but the lock's total crap. Anyone half-decent at cracking mag locks could have gotten inside. What's missing? His BTLs, hard drives, and cred sticks are all missing. Sounds like the killer looted his place to me. All this talk of monsters. Yeah, sure, there are scary things that go bump in the night, but most of the scary bumps I hear from are handguns and gangers. What do you do around here, Porter? It's a catch-all category, I guess. I work for Elder Ip. It's a bit like being a deputy. I make sure people don't break the rules. Protect people who need protecting. Mostly I just do whatever Ip asks me to. It's a pretty quiet job most days. Today's not one of those days. I also handle a lot of maintenance. I don't actually do the repairs, but I've got most of the keys. It makes it easy to ensure only authorized people get into sensitive places. Electricity goes down, I let in the electrician who fixes the wiring. Toilet's clogged, I let in the drone guy who opens it back up. See you later. Zippy! That's an awesome name. You're our new friend. This orc is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks it out towards you. Hey, stranger! Nice to see you. Zippy Toe Tag at your service. How are you liking Wampoan Garden? I'm BarriKade. Nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you, too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me to just say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. Zippy gestures expansively at the squalid, neon-lit streets of Wampoan Garden. This is my home, at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before this, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gon and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart. I didn't want to dig any deeper. And so since I don't know you, and I can smell a Shadowrunner a mile away, you've got to be the outsider they asked to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head back, obviously pleased at his amateur deduction. Very astute, that's right. See, I have good eyes. A lot of good eyes, actually. If you're in the market for replacements. Only slightly used, and they've come from certified donors, I swear. A hearty belly laugh erupts from the orc, and he slaps one of his thighs in elation. Man, I kill myself. Pretty funny. You a stand-up comedian? With jokes like that? Are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other Wampoans healthy. Gotta practice down the road. Blind Chen's a pretty good cyber doc, but he's basically an implant specialist, and that's it. How'd you end up here? I did my residency back in the UCAS. Could have become a real MD, too, if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Zippy opens his coat, revealing a cyber deck. He pats it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than ice. Wampoan Garden seemed a good fit for me. So it's fairly peaceful around here. For the most part, other than these killings, we don't have much in the way of problems. We do information security for the Triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit him in the Matrix, while our Triad friends hit him in meat space. Some small-time gangs have been trying to push in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Tang and his guys, with both the with the Red Dragon and the Yellow Lotus. They got the message real quick. What was left of them, anyway. You must have a lot of customers. That's the chip truth. I have to charge my costs to cover and eat. Hang on. I have to charge to cover my costs and eat, but it's a damn near free service. There's always a waiting list, but it's good, honest work. I like helping my neighbors in the community. We all look out for each other. Somebody messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. That kind of community is rare as gold these days. How many places have an ethos like this? Not the damn core, that's for sure. I've lived a lot of places, done my fair share of Shadowrunning, but this place is special. It's been a long time since I really felt like anywhere is a real home. Zippy looks off past you, towards Wampoan Garden streets. His expression grows wistful, like he's remembering something from a long time ago. I'm sure I'll move on again, but not for a while. I'm not done with this city or these people. Let me ask you about Wampoan Garden. Sure thing. What do you want to know? It looks like Tong was killed by a blade, not a broken neck or a bite. Zippy recoils, shuddering against the rain. What kind of blade? Was it a knife, a sword, maybe an axe? I don't know, but he was attacked at the back of the neck. I don't like that at all. Zippy shivers, looking warily around. This whole affair's got me on edge. People dying is nothing new, but the flayed skin. Ugh! After a moment, Zippy composes himself and looks back to you. It sounds possible that whoever's been killing the elders is trying to muddy the waters with all the blood and gore business. This is the crime of an intelligent, careful killer. Be careful. This investigation might take you somewhere very unpleasant. What are your thoughts on the murders? There's a sharp intake of breath as Zippy shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gon died from a broken neck. Looks like someone had wrenched it around, and his arms and legs were cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by someone with pretty sharp teeth. At first I thought it was a devil rat, but the teeth marks were all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at you, Tunde. From what I saw at a distance, it was the same story. Didn't seem much point, since I've already seen it twice. As for Tong, from what Porter told me, it was Gon and Nakamura all over again. You take a look at him yet? Yeah, it's the same as you described from the others. Zippy shakes his head sadly. Damn, I liked Tong. The BTL business is unsavory, but the man had to eat. His regular Sims were great. Generally all-around nice guy. Friendly with everyone, never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell you. What can you tell me about the elders? Zippy laughs, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? N's the spiritual leader here. She's the voice of the Wampoans, I guess. A lot of her close friends are really more of followers, since she's something of a priest of the machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing for people who grew up here, but it's never called to me. Still, she makes a damn fine pot of tea. Ip's the muscle, and has an encyclopedic knowledge of cyberware and bioware. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You get a lot of cyber, people start wondering if they'll tear their arms off. Zippy makes a chopping gesture with one hand. He's got moves straight out of Blood Carnival 3, The Reckoning. Terrible movie, but great fight choreography. What about Tang? I don't know much about him. I think he's got some sort of fetish for automation. I found him cooing over some trids of automated delivery drones in a warehouse once. He works with drones. Has a shop called the Blessed Autofab. He was raving about the efficiency of the movement patterns or something. We already know about Tong. Ran Sims, BTLs, skill chips. Don used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved in statistical analysis. Zippy pauses to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment. Trids mostly. Spent a lot of time analyzing subliminals and ads. Then there was Magpie. She was the chief decker. Hot as hell against ice, and built her own hardware. Salty old woman, though. Never met anyone who was quite as shrill or nasty when she was mad. She was mad most of the time. Wait, nobody mentioned Magpie to me. When did she die? She didn't. Maybe a month ago she just up and disappeared. I went to her shop one day and she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of a pain in the ass, too. She owed me some new analyze software she'd picked up. I'd never heard of Magpie either. She must be one of the newer Wampoans. If she was the decker, she would have replaced Ella Gao. No surprise there. Gao was older than Kinshin Gaodi's Terracotta Warriors. When I was learning decking from him, he could barely get out of bed. Still fast as hell in the Matrix, though. How can you be new and an older? Isabel rolls her eyes. It's a stupid name. It doesn't actually have much to do with time spent in the community. That has something to do with it, sure. It's mostly about how skilled you are, how good your connections are, and how much you can help everybody else. Should have called them experts or something. Bingo! That's exactly it. She was only here for about 3 years, but she knew a lot of people all over the Matrix, in Shanghai and Beijing, all kinds of places. That plus her skill meant she was a shoo-in when Gao died. Where do you think she went? No idea. One day she was here, the next, poof! At first I thought she was just on vacation. Since she had mentioned wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday, that didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems mighty suspicious to me. Nobody else seems to care about what happened to her. Probably because she pissed him off all so bad. Is there any place you think I should start looking? You might want to check out in her shop. It's all locked up, but the elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around. Even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have any reason to not let you in. What do they argue about? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a grand vision of what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted to deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her Matrix chops. The last big argument was between her, Ip, and Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate trade business into the Matrix, and she just absolutely refused. She sounds like she didn't care for entertainment taking precedence over business. That's exactly it. She gave Nakamura an earful, let me tell you. She said something about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyway, it went from there into this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further, because it would get too much megacore attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. What do you mean blocking them? Everybody needs her Matrix skills for their businesses to run properly. There are other deckers, me say, or Mojanibi, but she had the infrastructure. If their project didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them the time of day. She's a real hardhead about having her time wasted, but she figures if she's not interested in something, that has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot if you ask me. Could you let me into her shop? No can do. Not because I don't want to, but because I just don't have the key. You have to get it from Ip. He's taken over all the Matrix infrastructure maintenance since Magpie disappeared. He's not as good at it as she is, or as I am, but I'm not going to let anyone else who isn't an elder take care of that kind of trivial stuff. See you later, Zippy. Oh, right. Interesting. Very interesting. So, Magpie vanished before all of this started happening. A connection, maybe? Either way, That is the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you did enjoy the video and you'd like to see more, or even if you just like to watch some more videos in the future. Please leave a comment below if you have any advice for me in this very interesting case, or if you just want to tell me that my videos are terrible and you wish I would stop. Either way, thank you again, take care, have a fantastic day, and be good to one another.